Alright, boys and girls, we are going to work on another standard in our NBT. This is Georgia's Standard of Excellence, 4 standing for 4th grade, NBT, Numbers and Operations in Base 10, and this is the 4th standard within this domain, Numbers and Operations in Base 10. Now, this standard says we're going to fluently add and subtract multi-digit whole numbers using the standard algorithm. Use the 4 operations within whole numbers to solve problems. Now, with this video, notice that I have the word add in purple because we're going to first focus on the parts of adding, how to use place value as a strategy when adding, and we're going to still focus on standard algorithm because once you know how to add and subtract multi-digit whole numbers using the standard algorithm, you have mastered the standard. But then you will also be able to, with this standard, I'm going to teach you other strategies, many different strategies. Why am I doing that in black? You can't see that. That doesn't make any sense. Many different strategies to solve addition problems within 1 million. Use many different strategies to solve subtraction problems within 1 million. And decide if your answers make sense and are reasonable using mental math and estimation. So we are going to focus on mental math and estimation as well when we are adding and subtracting multi-digit whole numbers using the standard algorithm. But in this video, we're going to use a place value chart as a guide just to get us started if you're a little uncomfortable with adding multi-digit whole numbers. And I mean 3-digit, 4-digit, 5-digit, 6-digit, multi-digit numbers, okay? So when you're comfortable with place value and you know your place values in and out at the back of your hand, you are going to be a whiz at 4 NBT4, I guarantee it. So in this video, we're going to focus on just fluently adding multi-digit whole numbers using the standard algorithm, and we're going to have a place value as our guide for this standard. So let's start with getting the idea of adding and subtracting whole numbers. You're going to use a place value to line up numbers when you add or subtract. Then add or subtract each place from left to right, from right to left. I can't read that. From right to left. Now, the numbers you add are your add-ins. This is something that you want to pause and copy down. I'll tell you in a minute when to pause. The numbers you add are add-ins. The total number is called the sum. So, this is the example I have. 17,643 is your add-in. Plus 2,155 is your second add-in. Your total, which is your sum, 19,798. So this is what the standard algorithm looks like. You're lining up your numbers by place value and you're adding them up starting from the right-hand side and working your way to the left. So you start from the right and work your way to the left. Each number that you're adding up together is called the add-in. Your answer, when you're done adding up your numbers, is called your sum. So this is just some vocabulary you need to know and be able to identify so you can know what makes up part of the standard for NBT4. So right here we have an example. And here I have a place value chart to start us off with. So this right here is my place value chart. Place value chart. Alright. Now, with this, I have a 5-digit plus a 5-digit number. In my place value chart, I have it broken into ones, thousands, and millions. Ones, tens, hundreds are in the ones column. Hundreds, 10,000s, 100,000s are in the thousands column. And millions, 10 millions, and 100 millions are in the section with the millions. Now, what I'm going to do by using my place value chart, you guys should pause the video and copy down this place value chart and then copy down this problem right here. I am going to write this problem exactly how it is into my place value chart right now. And once I finish writing my numbers down into my place value chart, you guys can pause the video, copy down this place value chart, and then you can go ahead and get started with following the steps that I am going to take as we do this problem together, okay? So, first step we need to do, we should round each add-in to estimate. So I am going to round my first add-in. Let me put my comma there because that's something I forgot to do. Well, in black. There, my commas. Now I'm going to round each add-in to estimate. So I'm going to round it to the nearest thousands place. How about this? I'll round it to the nearest 10,000s. Let's round it to the nearest 10,000s place. And we just talked about rounding in NBT 3. So if you need a little help, go back to your notes. We're going to round it to the nearest 10,000 place. So I have 63,821 rounded to the nearest 10,000s. Let's see. 3 is less than 5, so this 6 is going to stay the same. So now it's 60,000. What am I doing? And then the 4 is less than 5, so this 3 is going to stay the same, and this is going to be 30,000. I'm going to add this up. What is wrong with my handwriting? It is not up to par. Please excuse me. So once I finish adding my two add-ins, my sum should be somewhere around 90,000, okay? So let's go ahead and work on that. I'm going to rewrite this portion because I did some circling and it looked kind of messy to me and I didn't like that. So I'm just rewriting it. You don't have to do this, that's just me. So now we're going to use a place value chart to line up the digits by place value. Check, we did that. Check, we did that. Now we're going to start with the ones place. This is our starting point. And we're going to add from right to left. And then we're going to regroup as needed. Okay? So let's go ahead and start. I'm going to put my sum in, well, red. All right. So 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 plus 7 is 15. This is a regrouping part. I cannot write 15 down right here. I'm going to have to write the 5 that's in the ones place from 15 and then take the 1 and add it up here for plus 1. 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 1 is 8. And then 6 plus 3 is 9. So my sum for 63,821 plus 34,765 is 98,586. So it's around 90,000. When we did our rounding, it's around 90,000. So hey, doing pretty good. Now, let's go ahead and move on. And we did that. Check. Here's our first example. What you guys can do is pause, write down this in purple, and then we're going to do this step by step. This is the actual problem that we have. Mr. Washington's 4th grade class recycled 3,622 bottles in March and 4,185 bottles in April. How many bottles did they recycle in March and April? So this is obviously a word problem. And then in our word problem, it's much easier to use cubes as a strategy to solve your word problems. All right, so we're using cubes, and copy this down. I'm going to circle my numbers. So I have 3,622 and 4,185. And I'm going to underline my question. How many bottles did they recycle in March and April? Then I'm going to box in keywords that is going to tell me if I'm going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. So even though we already know that we're adding in this video, I am still going to look at my word problem and see what keywords jump out to me to tell me, you should add those two numbers that you circled together, okay? So what I like to do is read the question again and see which words jump out to me to let me know I should be adding. Mr. Washington's 4th grade class recycled 3,622 bottles in March and 4,185 bottles in April. How many bottles did they recycle in March and April? I'm thinking the word and is a word that's used so commonly in word problems, but the way they use the word and in this word problem, if I'm saying come and get this bottle and this bottle, I'm going to be asking you to get more than one. We're putting something together. That is the word that jumps out to me in this problem to let me know that I'm going to be adding two amounts together. The amount that I have in March and the amount that I get in April. So these are my two amounts right here. So the strategy we're going to focus on is using place value. After I box in my keywords, I'm going to evaluate what I have underlined, what I have circled, and what I have boxed in. Then I'm going to move on to S to start solving. We're going to get more into the cube strategy. I want to make a completely different video on just using cubes to solve word problems for adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing with any type of multi-digit number or decimals or fractions. I got you. So step 1, we're going to write the numbers in a column, line up the digits by place value. So what I have right here, I didn't use a place value chart. You guys can use a place value chart if you want to. Like if I wanted to copy this right here. I can still use the place value chart if I want to. So I have my ones place, my tens place, my hundreds place, my thousands place. So I only have 4 place values that I'm adding up. Now the second step is to add the digits in the ones place. So see, I have highlighted right here the 2 and the 5, which are both in the ones place. So 2 plus 5 is 7. Now, pause it, copy down what you need to, and I'm going to move on. Now, step 3, we're going to add the digits in the tens place. So we already did 5 plus 7, and we got 5 plus 2, and we got 7. Now we're going to add the digits in the tens place. 8 plus 2 is 10. Remember, I have to regroup. I cannot write 10 down right here. No, we have to take the 0 in the ones place in 10 and place it down, and then take that 1 in the tens place and place it over here in the hundreds column. So 0 goes here. That was so big. I naturally write really large, so it's a struggle for me to write smaller. So now my 10, 8 plus 2 is 10. I place the 0 here, and I regroup and carry my 1 from the tens place and place it over here in the hundreds place. Now I'm going to add 6 plus 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. So let's go to step 4. Now we're going to add the digits in the hundreds place. I just did that right here. So let's do 7, 0. I have a plus 1 up here. So now this is 8. Now we're going to move to the thousands place. Pause and copy down what you need to right here. I'm going to erase this portion because it doesn't belong here. Just copy down what I have here and here. And you can highlight the place values if you want to once you write down the steps. And then come down here again, we have 7, 0, and then 8 because there was a plus 1 right here. Now I'm going to add 4 plus 3, which equals 7. Remember, count every 3 place values, you place a comma. 1, 2, 3, comma. So my solution or my sum for adding 3,622, which is the first added, plus 4,185, which is the second added, gives me a sum of 7,807. Which is my solution. So Mr. Washington's class recycled 7,807 bottles in March and April. Before we move on, I want to give you guys one problem to do yourselves, and I'm going to write really big because I can do that because I have all this space right here. I'm going to say 6,943 plus 4,219. Pause the video, solve this problem, and then once you solve it, I'm going to have the answer and I'm going to work it out through here with you guys. Now remember, we're going to start in the ones place to the right and then work our way to the left. So 9 plus 3. 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 plus 2 is 9, 10, 12. And it's okay if you talk yourself through it in your head. 4 plus 1 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. 9 plus 2 is 11. See how I'm regrouping? 6 plus 4 is 10. Plus 1 is 11. Now, I do not have a number in the 10,000s place. I have nothing else to add after my 6 and my 4. So once I do 6 plus 4 plus 1 gives me 11, I'm just going to write down my 11 straight down here because I have nothing to regroup that 1 and 11 to. Okay? So you should have 11,162. Again with the big writing, Miss Davis. Goodness gracious. All right, well, I say let's do one more just to make sure that we got it down packed. And remember, let's do a 5-digit number. So let's do, let me scoocheroo, scoot on down. I'm just pulling random numbers out of my head. I don't know what's going on. They're just popping in my head as I write. So weird. Okay. Pause the video, copy this down, and then once you get done solving it, make sure you're regrouping correctly and you're starting from the ones place, then going to the tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. And if you need to make a place value chart, by all means, you don't have to do a fancy one like I did. Just simply do this. Line, line, box it in, and then draw some lines. Well, draw it straight down. Your comma. Boom. It doesn't have to be fancy schmancy. Not at all. And just go ahead and start adding. If this is what you need to do to make sure you pull your numbers, place your numbers in the correct place value, by all means do that. I have no problem with it. Just make sure you don't draw your line over your numbers and slice it in half, and I'm like, what number is that? Okay? 8 plus 1 is 9. 7 plus 3 is 10. I can't simply write 10 down in this place value. I have to put 0 here, regroup, and place the 1 up here. 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 1 is 11. Place the 1 down here and put plus 1 up here. 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 plus 5 is 15. Place a 5 here, 1 here. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. Let me adjust this huge comma that I placed right there. That was awkward. So now my added right here was 24,471, plus my second added, 15,638, gave me a sum of 45,109. So, with this video, boys and girls, we fluently, and let me highlight this, add multi-digit whole numbers using the standard algorithm. But don't forget, we also had the help of our friend place value chart. And some people like to say that a place value chart is like a tool. Or people would call it a strategy. I sometimes say it's a tool that you can use to help keep your numbers in order when adding and subtracting with place value. And some people like to say it's a strategy. So whatever you feel comfortable with, by all means use that. But I want you to master this standard like I know you will. So hopefully you guys took good notes. If you don't understand the video, rewind it, play it again, and watch it, mom and dad, brother, sister, grandma, grandpa. You know the spiel I've been giving for the past couple of videos. It's the same thing. Watch it how many times you want to. That's the beauty of this personalized learning. You go at your own pace. You watch this video as many times as you want to. And if you don't like my videos and my big hair, my goodness, watch those Learn Zillion videos. You don't like watching the videos? By all means, go to the 4th grade bucket, grab your sheets out of there, and if you're not getting anything, go to Davis Direct and sign up for small group, and I got you. Please sign up. I have no problem pulling you guys and working with you. We're going to master 4th grade standards and then move on to 5th grade standards, and then 6th grade standards, and you're going to be busting out of Llewellyn with all this knowledge, and nobody can be able to contain you because you're Llewellyn students. Hey, because you're Llewellyn students. Hey. All right, that was my silly moment for today. Now it's time to go home. Love you. Mwah. Bye.